Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. I've been on a layoff. They blocked me for 2 weeks, and they threatened me that if I have any more problems, they're taking my show away. Just so you know, people, if I disappear from here, I'll probably go over to Brighteon. I don't even know how to say it.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a couple other sites. I wish X actually allowed you to do shows on it because you can say anything you want on that site. I don't know if anybody's been dealing with Mr. Musk. I've been writing him letters every day. But people, there's so much going on at every level, and it seems like nobody's talking about the important things, and they get stuck up on these little things. I mean, war is not a simple thing, but there's riots and protests everywhere on the planet right now. People, you better wake up because what's going to happen isn't going to be anything good, and we have to deal with aliens on top of it all. And the UFO world doesn't even want to go into that. It's pretty pathetic. Like I said, I have a famous, one of the top famous UFO people. I'm actually dealing with him. Hopefully, I'll be able to get him on sometime soon. Uh, I know he's a real busy guy, but he actually replied to me twice now. He just replied to me 2 days ago. But he said he would come on the show, but he said he wanted to talk about something. I said, talk about whatever you want. I'll bring you on. But again, we're in the middle of a chaos of aliens, government, war, you name it, food shortages. We can go on and on. But Tina, we could never mention that word that people get, and it has to do with MED. I'm not going to say the word even. That's the second time we were taken off last year because of that. I don't know if you remember. During our UFO show, we mentioned it, and our show was taken down. No, they're not. Whoever said that, they're not. They're separate demons and entities, and all those creatures are different. I work with all aspects of it, and they're not the same people. Jesus wasn't an alien either. I mean, all these ridiculous, horrible ideas that these UFO people put out are crazy. All right, so let's get on with the show. Let me introduce my favorite co-host here. Greetings, Tina.
Hi, everybody. It's Tina Brad here from the UK. Hope you're all doing well. As Tommy said, we've been off the show the last few weeks. I've not been well, and obviously the channel has been down due to censorship and things like that. So I do apologise for that. But me and Tommy are back tonight. Welcome. Good to see you again, John. Welcome, everybody, to the show. And tonight, it is... it's about UFO and truth and things like that. You know, we do touch on other subjects sometimes, so you know it's good to break it up a bit. But as Tommy's just answering our guest in the chat room, there are actually incidences of descriptions in the Bible throughout the Old and the New Testaments of alien and what they describe of abduction, so it is nothing new. But I also wanted to touch on a subject about documentaries and aliens and things like that, and specialists. These people that come on, they're doctors and PhDs, but then you just get other people like, I watched an interesting one today with Nick Papin, and basically he was saying about Tong Delong's camp, something to the stars, Academy to the Stars or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, I do apologise. But basically, from what I can understand, is they're just the new version of Majestic 12. If I've got the idea right, because I'm not in the history of it all. I'm not new to this. I'm an abductee, so I come from the abduction side. So like history, ATIP, things like that, and I like religious history. So that's something I did look at school. But if I got this right, Majestic 12 were people either high-class people that re-engineered technology to sell it on to the public or Department of Defense. And they were like classified people or companies that made stuff but could sell stuff to the public but had declassified stuff for military. So it was just called Majestic 12 for many years, from what I understand. And the new innovation is to bring it out to the public instead of being secret. New innovation is Academy to the Stars. So all the information that they've gathered and knowledge and technology, they are going to keep private shares some of it and basically they're developing new technology for military or to sell to the public. So basically, Academy to Stars are just an out-in version of modern day Majestic 12 in modern times. That's what I could make of this. So, that was that. And like reporting as well lately, I don't know if anyone's aware, Japan has got a new island off the coast of Japan. Things have been going on. Something is definitely moving closer to the earth. The ring of fire is really kicking up, but Iceland, so the same week this new island appears from deep from the depths of the inner earth. Japan has a new island. Now the big island is at Javik in Iceland is going to erupt anytime soon, and the poor people of Iceland, hundreds of thousands of people, I believe, have been evacuated or will be evacuated. So it is life's under threat in Iceland. So something is definitely affecting the Earth's magnetic pull to have such a drastic effect on us. But lately, reporting of UFOs are down. They've seen people seem to think since like ATIPs come about and other things come about that that's all there is to ufology. But people seem to be happy with questions that are raised without getting answers. I think there's no more questions or things to ask. Believe me when I say it is the tip of the iceberg, and people need to look at things a lot more closer. What we're being told, outcomes are huge things. We're being told loads of things and ask all these questions, but no one's getting results, no one's getting answers, and no one's getting outcomes. And if they're getting outcomes, nothing is being followed up. So I think a lot of people have a long, long way to go. So yeah, there's many different things across the field, but that's just some of the things I just wanted to point out this week. So I tried to look at everyone else's material now. Paula Harris, I watched I went to one of her talks, and two of her talks actually, and she's like, read everybody else, watch everything else. So that's what I've been doing to up my knowledge. But I am an expert in abduction, as is Tommy, because that's the only real field I am in. You've got people, professionals, and other people that have been in it for a long time that just recount stories or collect evidence. But people like an activist, like Grant Cameron, he's like, right, a lot the same as me. I've wrote to the UN, haven't got a reply back. I promote human lives all the time, from abductions and other threats, but it's a long way off. Tommy.
All right, I just want to answer that question. Give me just one little guy out. He wants to go. Hold on. All right. All right, I want to answer that question about portholes. There's multiple kind of portholes on the planet, but we have one serious one which Mr. Tesla and his invention created. All right. And that was up in Wanacue, New Jersey. And it actually brought the most trouble to this planet. And just so you know, people, I know more about that subject than anybody else out there speaking, and I'm not making it up. Tesla worked with DuPont in New Jersey, and the most important UFO story that ever happened right there in the United States, as far as I know, definitely. But in the interim, all right, DuPont was working on, you know what it was? Antifreeze. And then Tesla died, and then they came out with a new antifreeze. Nothing different, just more money. But it was an underground base in Wanacue. And Sergeant 18 and I went up there every other day for hours, filming creatures, entities, UFOs, you name it. All right. But I'm not going to go into the story, what really happened there, because I'm not going to talk about it, because people can disappear because of what actually happened. And it was involved with the Montauk Project. Peter Moon and Preston Nichols both wrote a book about it. They wrote some parts about it, about the Montauk Chair and all that kind of stuff, but they didn't know what was really going on with Tesla and everything else with that whole thing. All right, I was right in the middle of it. That's where I was next to my first Bigfoot. I don't know if you know anything about the Montauk Project. They talked about the Hershey monkey. I was right next to it, chasing it. I can go on about that. All right. And at the same time, I was dealing with somebody, which very few people in this planet can talk about, is somebody from MJ12. But he's dead. I won't even say his name, though, no matter what. but he offered us something incredible, and he died right before he gave it to us. So people, there's so much going on right now. And getting back to the portholes. The porthole was created after the Philadelphia experiment happened. All right. It put a rip in the earth and the astral plane. All right. That vortex is allowing all these entities, creatures, and all this weird stuff that's multiplying every year, this and that, are coming into this reality. All right. They can't close it. The government has been trying since then to close it, and they can't. But in the interim, other ones are popping up. Now, aliens are creating vortexes. There's one right here in Hawaii where the fish people go down into the ocean. Mr. Musk just talked about it. I couldn't believe it. I wrote him a letter. Said, "You want to talk about the truth? Call me." He promised. I don't want to deal with Musk. He lied to me a couple times already. But here's the thing, people. We got all this stuff going on, and they're still talking about UFOs. Tina's right. They need to talk about what aliens are doing to humans, people, and children, not spaceships and weapons and all that. We can't stop that no matter what we do. But learning how to protect yourself. I stopped my brother from getting abducted when I was 6 years old. So there is ways and there's things, but religion doesn't cover it. Spiritualism doesn't cover it. I learned this all by myself. Tina is dealing with aliens. It's still over her house all the time, around her. They're not going to let her go. And I'm sure she doesn't know the exact reason, other than they do have her children. But we still have to try to get her hypnotized and get into some of the things that she doesn't know. But people like Travis Walton and these people still don't know what really went down. He worked with a very lame hypnotist, Bud Hopkins, who was he never saw an alien, never was next to a ship. He knows nothing about it, just what he gets people to say. And he didn't get anything really important from anybody he ever worked with. I met people that worked with him. He's no longer here, and I faced him face to face, and he ran away. Everybody I face publicly runs from me, people, just so you know. When I was with Sergeant 18, and we lectured around the United States, we were the top speakers in the UFO world. I mean, we had the best speakers, like, I'm not going to say all the names, but we had really incredible UFO speakers. Bob Dean, because he worked for the government. He worked with 27 alien races. And Putin says the same thing. They're working with 27 alien races. So obviously, there are these races, but they're not working with people, and they're not helping people. People, no alien race has ever helped the human race. Do you perceive that? Pyramids. Everything's about pyramids. Give up, people. It's not going to help you. It's not going to feed you in the next couple of years. It's not going to give you money. It's not going to help you any which way. All these people, that. All these stories, these ancient alien people go on, and they're still talking about it 15 years later. Oh, well, it could be. Oh, it could be. It could be. So what? How about the truth? Children are being abducted. Families are disappearing. Are you talking about that? No. Oh, Mr. Stephen Greer. Oh, they're all good. They're not bad people. We need to talk to them. Really? Well, talk to Satan. He'll give you just as much information. People, we're at a change in our reality. We only got 7 years to change. We can't change it. What's in place for the next 7 years is a nightmare if you want to look at it in reality. All right, people will die in large numbers. I'm not going to go into all the details. Listen to the end time people and all those people. They're talking about what's going on. Right now, there's so many sites coming up about food shortages, and that's happening.
Yeah.
All right, and it will happen. And at that point, we're going to be in chaos. And what the sun's doing right now, what they're doing with the directed energy beams and all this other stuff.
Sorry to interrupt, just so you know, what Tommy just touched on with the sun is actually accurate and very true. I'm in southern England, so we're not supposed to see the aurora borealis. Aurora borealis is the north of England. You may see it in Scotland. Normally it's Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Germanic or Norwegian, Nordic countries further north. The biggest country past England is the Arctic, but I'm talking about southern England now, so we're closer to France than we are the Arctic. But last week, the aurora borealis has been seen and photographed quite widely across the southern counties, in even up to a 45-minute drive from me, which is Stonehenge. Big aurora borealis in the sky, the northern lights, due to the activity of the sun. They did say prepare for blackouts and things like that. It can be a natural thing, but the sun is having what they call a hissy fit, or a different cycle, or it's having problems at the moment. So the aurora borealis is causing the northern lights. So something is happening to our Earth. Like I said earlier, we have got volcanoes erupting. You've got new continents appearing. We're having heavy rainfall here in the UK, and there's lots of other bits and pieces and things going on. The North Pole is still moving. If it continues to move, it just moves slightly more every day, the geographical location. At this point in space and time where we are now, it's heading towards Russia. So at some point in our future, the North Pole will be at the top of Russia. So that would put us a bit further west, I believe. But but from southern England, so we're not far from France and southern England. Literally, you can see the Isle of Wight from my house. So I can see the British Channel is just behind where I can see the Isle of Wight. And so we're closer to France, and we're seeing the aurora borealis here in the UK. Tommy?
Well, I want to go on with a few things, like because of that, the vortexes are critical. They're opening up around the world, but there's different vortexes for different things. Alien ships can come through them. People can go in and out of them. Now, the United States worked with time travel for a long time, and they learned how to do it. I mean, if you watch those movies about time travel and all those things, they're fairly close in a lot of ways. We screwed up time. When the Philadelphia experiment happened, Al Bielek, went back in time. He was one of the only people I know definitely went back in time. And somebody was killed. They offered him $4 million about 23 years ago to go back to take somebody else out. And my friend Sargell wanted to go with him. And he goes, oh, well, blah, blah, never happened. But he went back. I saw him. He was actually about 20 years younger when I saw him. And I'm not making that up. But he was one of the few people that actually was involved with the whole Philadelphia experiment, time travel, and all that. But when we did that, we created that rip. And during that rip, all these entities that are in here right now, if you watch these alien Ghostbusting and these creatures coming out, they're all coming out of the woodwork. And it's not make-believe, people. I mean, that's just fake. Everything's fake. Even aliens are fake. But no, there's a lot of things that really happen that are real. And if you really want to learn what's going on, listen to us. We don't lie. We don't cheat. We don't steal. But we put the truth out as often and as many times as we can. We lost the show because of that. So we can't talk about things at all, or we totally get taken off. Religion, they really don't care about. Spiritualism, they're iffy. And when it comes to medicines, forget it. When it comes to things that they're making money off of, I did a show on all the people that are involved with. I'm not going to say the word. I was going to say no. Only people.
Don't say the word.
It's funny. People out there can get away with it. Rich people could do anything they want, say anything they want, and it's broadcasted all over the news and everywhere. If I say Joe Schmo, I'm taken off the air. All right. People, we deal with the truth, not like any other UFO person you hear. All right. People like even Travis Walton is set in what he knows. Teen is still being attacked and affected by aliens around her all the time. Her body's going through multiple weird things that shouldn't happen and shouldn't exist. What they did to her body is mind-boggling, people. That's why her and me have been doing this show for years. But people, you don't want the truth. You'd rather hear the good aliens are going to come save us. They're going to bring us food. Are they going to bring you anything? They're going to bring you death and food for themselves. Yes. People, we've been doing this for a reason. It's time. Our time is running out for the world. MJ12.
Just for our viewers, sorry, Tommy, just for our viewers in the chat room, please just leave a quick comment. What do you think a good alien looks like in your mind, or a good alien does? Because I want an actual description, if you could, just a couple of words, because people say to me, what is a good alien? Oh, it's a good alien. What is a good alien? Is it an alien that's going to come here and invite you to tea? How are they going to talk to you and invite you? They're going to strap you down to a bench and look into your face and frighten you to death, abduct you against your will, come under the guise of night, enter your airspace, attack you with radiation. How are they going to invite you to dinner? How are they going to talk to you? How do they know the rules of mankind. They've been coming here for a while. So I want to know what you think a good alien is. Is it someone's going to pop into their room for a cup of tea? What I want to know people's understanding. I just want to know where people come from or other people's ideas. Because I don't have an idea of a good alien. They're just a different species to us. It's just like there's good and bad humans. But I've not had the most positive outcome or experience with this, nor has Tommy.
All right. That comment in there, I was an alien one lifetime. We all are. All right. We came down into the slower realm. We were brought to the world. 9 races were brought to this planet. So yes, we were all aliens at some point, and the definition of alien is man-made anyway. Just different. We were all different. I mean, color, space, size, wings, hair, all that is different. But we are not cavemen. We didn't come from the cavemen. We didn't come from a cell that crashed into the planet. All these ridiculous ideas that science puts out there.
Panspermia, that's called.
Yeah, exactly. But people, all right, my time's running out. I've been here 70 years. My birthday's in a month. So, I look at it this way. I did as much as I could. I'm finishing a book right now. It's for women only, people. I'm having a hard time with the publishing company. They don't want to put for women only. I said, it's for women only. It's not for men. Men have an ego. It's not written for a person with an ego. All right. It's understanding an ego. So it might be undeniable truth of a woman learning about man's ego. So I don't know what the exact title is yet. They're still playing with it. They're almost done. But every week I get a couple more chapters. They're doing a great job. I mean, I can't complain. I mean, it cost me more than I wanted, and they wanted a lot more. Outlander was my favorite movie. But again, people, we have to deal with what's happening right now. The government's releasing more information. The world's releasing more information about UFOs. But do you hear them talking about aliens, working with aliens, or any of that yet?
But there's no objective. They said the next objective was origin and intent. Now, surely, and this, I watched a documentary today. Nick Pope was on this documentary explaining it was his documentary. That, like the ATIP people, basically monitoring humans that have been abducted or been near spacecraft, which is where they collect their data from. It's finished in 2017, I believe, ATIP. I'm not sure if it's still going. Now, so it's out that aliens are real. They've been identified as anomalous, what have you, in the sky, UFO, basically. Let's go back to basics, UFO. So they know UFOs are real. They're not from this planet. They are from out of our sphere, outside of our world. They're from somewhere else. They don't know where that is. They freely come in and out of our world. They've admitted that. Yes, it affects human beings. Human beings die from being abducted. They die from radiation poisoning. They have huge medical issues after being near or in one of these things. So we know they're not good for us. So when they abduct you and take you, that's not good for you either. It's not good for the human race. So where is the outcome or their agenda to resolve that issue? No one's talking about that. And again, there's another security issue, which is even bigger. If they are coming into our world and they're doing this, which they are abducting people. They are been taking sperm and ovum for thousands or millions of years or collecting us like, I'm not sure what. But what happens? Well, the children who are like me and they're going to say, sod this for a game of Donald, I'm coming home. And if they look at Earth as home and come back here, who is going to be responsible for that? What happens if they have a hissy fit when they come here or create damage others in the universe or come here to wage war on us? Who is responsible for that? And what happens to us? There's loads of questions not even being asked and looked at, Tommy.
All right, people. We say people ask questions. I mean, does everybody have their answers? They don't need any questions. They shouldn't be here. We're trying to give people help in understanding things that are happening that UFO people aren't helping with, that the government's not helping with, that you need to know. Abduction's not good. The new word in the UFO world, which we hate, experiences, go on about incredible stories. First off, they have zero proof. Actually, it didn't happen. And they're programmed to believe some ridiculous story. Even famous people like Corey Good. All right, his story. Oh, they showed him videos of the past, present, and future. Really? He said the world was going to be destroyed. He said a lot of things. They could show you whatever they want. Are you supposed to believe it? Don't believe anything anybody else shows you, even if it's a psychic or a healer. Don't believe it. They don't know. Your aura, your soul resides on the astral plane, your astral body. They're not allowed to read it. Only if you give them permission to can they read that. So when they tell you, oh, you were a king in your last life, don't believe it. They're not going to tell you a homeless bum or a starving person in Biafra would this. They're not going to tell you that. And they're not going to tell you you're going to die next week either. They give you programmed information that keeps you programmed to be whatever. People, it's time to face who you are. Look in the mirror. You'll see who you are. You don't need anybody to, oh, you got to be better. You got to look better. No, you are the best you can, people. Listening to these conferences for $500 for 2 days, 3 days. Oh, you could be better. You can be the best you are. Yeah, you can. Just say, I'm going to be the best I can be and do whatever you feel is right. Don't go against your will. Don't fight yourself. Listen to yourself. Don't listen to other people because you only get into trouble. This is a world where aliens are coming here. Yes, it is greatly, but they're not helping us in any way, people. Never did. Building the pyramids is not beneficial to the human race. Never was. It didn't help any of the races that lived there, people. Do you understand that? Why are those people here telling us, oh, well, our pyramid can do this and that? Because it can't. It didn't help them. You know, it's like playing with a game. People give children a game to play with to keep their minds stagnant. All right? Not to grow. Nothing they give children helps them grow. A computer is the worst thing on the planet for children to play with. These games, they're all killing, murdering games. Children shouldn't be doing that. Remember when they took guns away from the children?
They should be playing outside in the fresh air.
Yeah, they should be playing, running around, right? Just not, well, I think bad things can happen anywhere, but you need the chance to have something good happen. Breathing fresh air, touching fresh water. I mean, things, even going fishing. You don't have to keep the fish, but just do something outside and be related to your family and your friends. You know, I was just thinking to myself, if you know the saying, if you have one good friend, you're lucky. Well, I have 100 good friends that are useless. I mean, it's always better to have one friend that's real.
That's true. Very true.
I mean, I got hundreds of friends. Yeah, well, go ask somebody for $1 million. Who's going to give it to you?
Yeah.
I mean, they give you, they don't help you. When you're in danger, do you notice, and I know this for a fact, if you're in harm and going through a serious problem, people hide from you. They don't want to help you. And I was in a religion, they pulled away. We don't want to get touched to that karma. Oh, wow, you're going to help me? You're going to get karma, right? You know, they don't believe in spirit. They don't believe in truly. I mean, they believe in whatever they want to believe in. But in this world, we're here for one reason. I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to do a spiritual class every week too now. But here's the thing, people. We're here for a reason. And I mean, it's just not for an enjoyment, because how much enjoyment do you get out of a day? I mean, in everything you do, you get very little. And in a lifetime, if you took all your beautiful times and put it together, how much is it? And you expect aliens to come down and make it better for you? What are they going to give you? Put it in there. Say what good aliens do for people.
There's some radiation.
Well, yeah, exactly. Now, people that claim they work with the tall whites. John, Bob, I don't know, the one that actually worked with the tall whites. He worked for the government. He explains, you can't go near them. You die from touching them. All right. So when people say, well, I was on a ship with them and they took us out to eat, all these stories, people, why do you want to listen? If you want to watch stories, go put TV on and watch Joe Schmo's show. But here's the thing, people. It's time to face who we are. What's going to happen in our lives? What do we want to attain, really, before we leave? Do you think you can attain anything? The only thing you can attain is becoming aware of who you are, what's really going on here, and how we can make it better or protect it any more than we can. Tina's in one of the most horrible places to be on this planet, being controlled and being used by aliens outside of planet Earth. People, not your mother, not your father, and they're not good people either. They can't teach you anything important. You know, I just read they said abuse and all that's the worst thing for children. It sure is, but parents don't know any better. They don't know what to teach their children on a good point of view. They don't teach them about aliens, demons, or any of that stuff. Well, they try not to.
The government doesn't even warn you now, do they?
No.
And they're supposed to be protecting us.
You know, protection is the only protection you have is yourself, inside your soul, your mind, your consciousness. Don't let anybody ever take that. I mean, they did. When the alien races came here and took over Atlantis and everything, they reprogrammed many souls. And that's why we became warring creatures, sacrificing people, torturing people, abusing women for
Still doing that
200,000
today.
years. People, do you understand that? Humans are pathetic. Now, we don't care about anything. We say we do. Oh, everybody's saying, oh, yeah, we want this. Because two countries at war. What about all the other wars that are going on right now? They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, we want to talk about them, the Palestinians. And we don't care about who, what, where. In our own town, the shootings of children. We are so screwed up and we don't realize what we're doing.
And it's getting worse.
And we think aliens are coming here to save us. Stephen Greer, I would love to place you.
They don't want him to come. Keep them away.
Tie him to a chair in front of 1,000 people and debate him in front of all these people. I mean, not only does he look like an alien, he acts like one. So never mind what he's teaching the human race, why he's allowed to. He came out and said they offered him $4 billion to walk away from the UFO program. Only a delusional program crazy person could say something that stupid. You know, $4 billion would change the world, never mind change him. They could take him out with a $10 bill.
You give me half of that.
No, you don't need 1% of that. 1% of $1 billion is enough. Never mind $4 billion. I mean, a couple other people claim they were offered money. My best friend sold out. I don't even know how much they offered him. But if they don't take the money, they are taking you know what out.
Tommy, with that, I am going to make it half an hour tonight.
Okay.
My partner's just waving to me.
No problem, Tina.
But the clock's gone back. To me, it's weird because normally when we do our shows, it's at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. UK time. Tonight, it's 7 o'clock UK time because our clocks went back. So it's very disorientating for me at the moment. But
no problem, Tina.
But we're here next week, guys. Have a look. Check out. We'll see if the volcano in Iceland erupts next week. We'll look at the new information coming out of Japan about this new continent that's risen up from Japan. Any comments, guys? Keep an eye on the news. See if you can see any reports of UFOs because there has been none, but I think the war's just taken over. Till next week, Tommy. I'll see you later. I've been Tina Bride here in Southampton, UK for Encounters Tonight. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Take it easy. Bye, Tina. All right, people. Yeah, that was Tina Bird, great person. She's going through a lot. She's in the hospital every other week. She has a leg in a cast for how many months now? Her bones aren't normal. What happened to her? I mean, she explained it many times on our show. What they did to her hip bones and stuff are impossible. In the hospital, they said thousands of holes in her hip bone. Impossible. No doctor would have did that. No laboratory would have did that. But again, like I said, aliens need her for a reason, and that's why she's alive. We didn't get to do her radioactive show and showing how bad it is, and it affects her a lot. But people, I'm going to be doing a couple of shows now, trying to do at least 2 a week. One on spiritualism and one on this. I might be doing a separate show, bringing guests on. I have a few people that I'd like to hear what they say now. I didn't have them on for a long time. I know one of them the first astronaut. They created the space program for him. He was on 6 flights, people. All right, and people don't even know who he was. But I don't know where he is in the UFO world right now. Probably afraid of it. But we'll see. I want to get some other people just to see what's going on with people that I knew or know. All right. But in the interim, I'm dealing with Musk greatly every day. I must write him 10, 20 letters. All right. He wants to go to Mars. And now he mentioned about the fish people. I don't think he has a clue what he's talking about, because very few people out there even know anything about it. But here in Hawaii, if you go to the ocean and talk to the homeless people, the people that live, not homeless, people that live on the ocean front or around it, and what they see at nighttime, they see lots of blue orbs going into the ocean. And I told Musk there's an underground city here where the fish people live. All right. So I don't know why he wants to get involved with that or why he's even thinking about that. Because we got other races here as well. And they're all underground, but they're still here. I could give them 2 places where they are right now. But in the interim, people, we're dealing with so much stuff. And we hear drips and drabs of stupid information. Yes, a Tic Tac was a Tic Tac, but it wasn't a UFO. It didn't look like a UFO. Sure, there's many beautiful videos coming out, clearer than ever, of a ship and stuff. Some of them are fake, I guarantee it. Because here's one thing, people. I've been in the UFO world all my life. One thing about aliens, and they don't talk about it much, they're highly gifted as far as awareness, sensitivity, and remote viewing, and all those kind of words. All right. Not that they're better than us, they're not. But they can feel and know everything you're thinking. By that alone means when they're traveling over your head, do they want you to see them or not? They can stop it. They can just disappear, or they could make a camera freeze and break or whatever, which happened to me so many times. The most important things I ever saw in my life, I was never able to record. Not because I wasn't, because they didn't allow it to happen. I mean, when I was with Sergeant Latine up on the Vortex and we were filming, we went there every other night for 4 hours at night from about 9 o'clock to about anywhere at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. It was different, but we were there every other night, 6 days a week. So we probably filmed more than anybody else in the United States at that time. I spent so much money. We were using cameras with film, and it cost me so much money every week to develop 3 rolls of 36 pictures of film that was, what, 1,500 and things like that. So I sold my camera, $3,000 camera for a $500 digital camera. And then we switched over to digital because it saved us so much money. Except the older cameras used batteries, like you could shoot 100 pictures and you need new batteries. So I used to buy a pack of 24 batteries, and we had to go through that in 2 or 3 days. It was expensive, people. The problem with all this that went down, we would film half of the night, go home, I'd fall asleep, and he would download all the pictures all night, what was left of it. Sadly, what happened, he copyrighted everything one day without telling me. All my pictures, all what we shot together, everything. Which was okay, because I was friends with him. But when we had a fight, I wasn't allowed to use any of the pictures we shot because they were copyrighted. I don't know what the legal law is on that. Anybody out there knows, please tell me. I mean, if I actually shot it, can he copyright it? But here's the thing, people. We shot more ships than anybody else in the United States. We shot creatures. He did something that I didn't like. He blew smoke in the air and would film creatures and weird things in it. But to me, that wasn't as important as a real entity or a ship or things like that. But I mean, we faced the most incredible things there. This was where Kessler was working with DuPont. The most UFO important story ever happened in the United States right there. Nobody in the UFO world can talk about it because they don't know. Well, he was living right where it went down. He was there when the ship crashed into Wanacue, New Jersey. So people, I've been around the truth at every level, from almost all the top speakers, the ones that went to jail, that killed, taken out, you name it, all those kind of words. Sorry for using that word, taken out. I should use that instead of the other word. But people, I mean, even at the UFO conference with the Congress and all that, we don't take people out. Oh, they don't? Because they don't know MJ-12. They don't know nothing about MJ12, what they're responsible for. They're hardcore people. I don't know much of the ones that are left. I only knew the one that I knew. And he promised, I'm going to explain a story. I don't know if you ever watched the X-Files. You could still watch them and stuff. They're on DVD and things like that. It was real stories, people. One person claimed he wrote them all. No, he didn't. There were stories taken from a police department that were documented. Self-explosion and all those words. They were real stories that happened. Even Mr. Bigfoot, the Mothman, all those were real stories, people. All right? Even the part where they went in and like every third or fourth one was always a UFO thing between them and the UFOs and aliens. Well, if you took that further into the movie, the first movie, X-File movie number 1, all right, watch it. Go out and rent it online wherever you can. It's an important movie pertaining to the UFO world. Honey was critical. Why the bees are dying around the planet and all those kind of, there's reasons for everything, people. Whether you find them, understand them, that's a different thing. Science is never going to find the truth about what's going down because they don't believe in the outside things. Demons, spirits, ghosts, aliens, they don't believe in that part of it. So how are they going to get the truth? Well, this cell had to bang into that one, or that cell got hit by a rock. Whatever, they're ignorant theories to create that idea. Remember, everything they give you is a theory. And a theory is something that's accepted by a group of people. And it becomes a theory. But whistleblowers and all those other words are created because people don't believe what they say. Not saying they're not saying the right things. But I'm friends with a lot of people, and I'm in between a lot of other people. Carrie Cassidy brings every whistleblower in the world on her show. I don't believe any of them. They come up with these twisted stories, exaggerated stories. And if you go online, there's women that, one woman, she does a whole presentation of the beginning of time. It's like George Washington and how aliens were working with them, what race they were. Believe it or not, you can believe what you want. We all came from another world, people. What race doesn't matter? You're who you are, what you are right now, and you look human for the word that we created, human. All right? Deities are semi-human. Entities are not. So what you work with, people ask, is this, that, or that? No, aliens are aliens. Demons are demons. Entities are entities. Angels are angels. Deities are bigger entities that are basically more powerful than anything else in the lower realms. Aliens are under the control of Satan. I know nobody wants to hear that. Nobody even understands that. Satan was given the power over this realm, people. That's why God allows it to stay here. For a reason. We're in hell for a reason, people. We're here to learn something. Not about sex, family, houses, cars, boats. Not at all. What you are. What's really inside that body of yours. When you look in the mirror, what you see is a body, not soul. You look hard enough, you can see your soul. You can see your aura and things that are much more important. But nobody teaches that. It's pathetic where we're going, people. And to think aliens are the magical cure for everything that's going to happen. Now, I have an open debate. I'll debate anybody in the UFO world, no matter who they are. And I guarantee I'll break them down and prove that they're lying, or they have no clue to the truth. Nobody in the UFO world really talks about the government and what they do with aliens and what they did. Putin came out publicly and said it, people. Give me one split second. Hold on. Sorry about that. Excuse me. All right. We have a serious problem, people. You want to listen to the UFO people, believe them, pay all your money to go to a conference, and then sit in meditation. For what? Meditation's as old as Hinduism, which was the first religion on this planet. And they were into sex. That's all Hinduism was into. People, do you know that? Kama Sutra, and all those kind of words. But it had nothing to do with God, nothing to do with spiritualism. It had to do with sexual energy, which they claim was godlike energy, which it's not. God doesn't have a sexual agenda in the first place. But again, people, when we talk about the present time, aliens, what do you think they care about? What do you think they're here for? People? To teach us what? It's like going to an ant colony and trying to teach them something. What are you going to teach them? I'm going to break it down, people, something that you're not going to hear anywhere else, maybe not for another year or two. AI, artificial intelligence, man-made word, man-made entity. No, it's not. It's a real entity given life. There was a movie about that. I can't think what the name of it was, but it actually explained it. But it's a live entity. Even 2000 BC, 2001, sorry. But it's alive. It was created by aliens a long time ago. Given it the place to grow in is called computers. All right. But it's a live entity. Everything that's spark, proton, neutron, electron is a live entity in some form. And they all create a human. They create everything. So why couldn't they create artificial intelligence? Which it's not artificial. It's called real intelligence. I'm going to tell you an experiment that was done for real. Now, they took 5 of the top computers in the world, told them something, and all the computers came back with the exact same thing of what the future is going to look like. Imagine that. We're up and down, destructive, creating. To think that we're going to be able to predict what we're going to have here in the next 10 years is ridiculous. But these computers all came out kind of like the Jetsons. But people, how would it know? How would they all know the same thing? It's like a beehive or an ant colony. They all listen to the queen. How? And why do they all do what the queen wants? AI is not going to be safe. It will be part of the alien takeover of the planet. I mean, Mr. Musk has no clue. Neither does the government. Well, we have to, and Mr. Musk comes out double standard. Oh, we should be careful of AI. But then he goes, we're going to invent technology to take away all the little jobs. Contradictory, ridiculous, bad. Take away all the little jobs from people so that a robot can do it. Wow, that sounds really good. People, I'm not saying he would be a bad president because we have 2 ridiculous things going on right now, Trump and Biden. They're too old, don't know anything that's really going on. I mean, talking about the wall, talking about sending people back to another country, that's not important. We're in the middle of major wars. We're in the middle of China trying to take over the planet. People, wake up for the facts. And you think aliens are sitting back for no reason? They can take dead bodies and missing bodies. That's what they want. In a war, you know how many people go missing? I mean, they don't find the bodies or anything. And then when you go to the state parks all across the United States, how many thousands of people disappear in a year? Thousands of people disappear in a park? Car's still there. They're gone. Why would they leave their car and jump off a mountain into a black hole? Well, I mean, think, people. Do you look at the facts? No. Do UFO people care? No. They're making money, pushing their dumb ideas on people. Well, I think this. Mr. Wired Hair. Oh, well, I know that. I think it's not. Who cares what you think? Thinking's just for the mind, not for the soul. When we leave this body, we don't have to think about this reality anymore either. People, you mentioned Phil Snyder, the second most important thing that went down in the UFO history. And the UFO people can't talk about him. Stephen Greer would never mention his name because all aliens are good. All aliens are good. And they want to help us. And the government's making all these make-believe things. Really? Read Phil Snyder's story twice. He was alive for a couple months before they killed him. All right. Oh, well, he committed suicide. If you saw what happened to him after they blew up an alien base, he did not do that to himself. No possible way. Second of all, when they found him wrapped up and dead, he didn't commit suicide. There was no blood there. And even the autopsy said he was pretty well beat. He beat himself to a pulp and then wrapped himself up in wire and killed himself? Please, people, you want to believe this? I can go on about all the UFO people that I know have been taken out. Over 16. One was a whole family, people. My best friend that I knew since I was 11 years old, so I'm not making that story up either. People, do you want the truth? No. You want to go listen to Joe Schmo on Ancient Aliens Talk? I joined a couple people's sites, Skinwalker Ranch and Richard Dolan's site. He never replied one email to me. Skinwalker Ranch, I wrote to all of them. I got a letter. What would you want to say? The truth, people. You're dealing with it, and let's see if they come back on. They're not going to be able to release the UFO underground where they are right now. Will they let them show that on TV? If they do, you're going to see a wide opening happening for some reason, but I don't think it's going to happen soon. They'd have to come out and admit everything they did with aliens. The government can't do that, people, either. I use all that brain dead. They sold human souls out. They were allowed to abduct so many people in a year. Just like whales and dolphins and everything. 10,000. 10,000 is a number for killing and taking out creatures, entities, and people. Who came up with that number? But it's allowed to kill 10,000 dolphins a year, 10,000 whales a year. The government took out 10,000 dolphins a year trying to train them to kill humans. Really. Fact. If I lose my show, I don't care because I'm only saying the truth. I'm not lying to you people. And when I'm off the air, and I'll probably be somewhere else, but if I'm off the air, realize they're afraid for the truth to come out. I don't know who's afraid, but somebody is. The government doesn't care about dolphins dying. They don't care about whales or dolphins. I know in Hawaii they put black boxes along the coastline to keep the dolphins from coming in. But it all related to the HARP system, which is here, which the HARP boat comes in here every 6 months, people. For real. It's a real thing, people. You know, I can go over and over things. I can tell you things that you might not even want to know, which is probably all the truth. You'd rather hear a good fairy tale story. But there's none out there, people. Nothing really good happening. For every good thing you hear, there's 1,000 bad things happening. And they say this is the world of balance. We are so far out of balance. Like my mug. People, I came up the hard way. Never rich, never famous. Never had family that even cared about me at 2 cents. Except my grandmother. But did everything myself, all my science fair projects I made. But I had the most incredible experiences that anybody could ever demand, want, or ask for. Starting at 6 years old, I worked with entities, deities. I was next to an alien. I was next to a Bigfoot. All right. I got to ride along with women that have been abducted, lost their children, and could prove it. Nobody's proving those things anymore. I don't know why. But when I was 19, from then on, I was working with women that were abducted, lost their children. I mean, I saw the x-rays, sonograms, and all those kind of words that proved they were. Even when they went back to the hospital said you couldn't have been pregnant. Couldn't have been. You just took the sonogram yesterday. And all these kind of things, people. Tina's story is incredible as well. They cut something out of her stomach. She went to court to try to get the video. They won't show it to her. They said it's too controversial. She's been writing to Congress, and she gets a letter. Oh, it was a birth control device. In her stomach? This big? Really, people? Did they really expect her to believe that? She knows what's going on. People, I've been working with Tina And I feel so bad. She's radioactive, people. We didn't get to prove that today. She's dealing with weird stuff. And her body is going through turmoil at every level. She has all the symptoms of radiation poisoning. And it was really bad last year and the year before. She was losing her fingernails, her toenails, her hair. All right, she was falling down. She turned black and blue half of her body when she did. Her teeth were falling out. Everything was going on with her body. Kind of stopped. But she's dealing with all problems with her body now. They're saying cancer here, cancer there. This could be that. This could be that. And they keep testing her. You know why they keep testing people? They're trying to figure out what's really going on. They have no clue. And they're not going to say, well, aliens are playing with her body. No, they're not going to say that, are they? But she's not a liar. I trust her completely, people. She's not doing this for money. Her book became almost #1, luckily. I mean, people really want to read it, which is good. I don't know if it's still being sold greatly, but pull up her books. Her UFO book is more important than anything else right now. Not to make money, not to anything, but to understand what really happened to her. It's a big book. It's a big book, like I said. It's small writing, but she had to do it this way. She tried 10 companies. If I can get that up on there. Man, the light's hitting it wrong. I can't get it to come up straight. Well, to know what she went through. I mean, there's people that have been abducted and some similar, but some of them are programmed to believe that it's a great experience, which it is not. Nobody gets abducted and say it's a great experience, except people that claim to be experiencers. I know so many of them. They're all in La La Land, Fairyland, whatever I call it. Oh, they came in my room and they took us to dinner. They took us to another world. They showed us Quetzalcoatl land and all this. They come up with words and stuff. So what? I knew a woman, girl at the time, Anna Hayes. She became pretty famous. She wrote 2 books in a month. I watched a 12-hour presentation on all the alien races. She was making it pretty big. She was on a boat. The boat sank. She lost everything. Her and her husband came back and started again. But she started doing these hieroglyphics and paintings and stuff. Incredible. But she died. I was thinking of her. I pulled her up online and found out she died the day before. I'm connected to things like that. Not that I want to be. But whenever I search something or find out about somebody, they're gone. Now, the name that I wanted to mention. Hold on. Story Musgrave. Okay? A real person. The first person they created a space program for. I had him on my show, and we got into a great conversation. But he said they saw things in space, but they never saw anything down here. Well, he's still getting money from the government, and I guess he doesn't ever want to lose that because if he's still alive, I don't know if he's still alive right now. I might give him a call because I said if I can, I see if I can get him to come on the show and talk. But don't forget, he won't say anything about aliens here. I called him up once and said, we got a UFO in the lake. And he hung up on me. See, he can't get involved with that. The same as a friend of mine, my best friend who disappeared, who worked for NASA. I met him after many years at a UFO conference. He didn't remember me, but I remember him. Oh, yeah. And we were playing, like when we were 12, we were playing in cardboard boxes, pretending they were spaceships. He goes, well, I'm working for NASA now. I said, cool. We were at a UFO conference. And this person also is dead, but he, Jose Escamillo. Well, he came on me, my friend goes, we got to get together. I said, sure, I'm going to show you UFO pictures. He goes, well, I'm really not allowed to, but I really like to. So I brought him over to my friend's house, Sergeant 18, and we were showing him some pictures. He goes, well, you know how they make ships disappear and all that? He explained a lot of things to us. So we were talking, and we were going to create a civilization in the United States for people to stay separate. There was a lot of different words at the time then, but we said, let's create a community. He designed all the parts for the space shuttles. So he had this machine. He said, look, we can go create a piece of, he had money. He said, we could create a civil organized group of people, and we don't have to leave it. Anything breaks, I can fix it or make it. Sound great. He goes, well, let's have a pool party Wednesday, and then we'll start talking about the details. Wednesday came, he was gone. The family was taken out of school and never heard from him again. People, I can go on, I know a couple other stories exactly the same. You know, when these people break silence and they know it. I know somebody that worked inside the HARP system, and he was going to give us a video, and he disappeared. Young kid. I'm sure they brought him inside because his father was the head person inside the HARP system in Hawaii. All right. People, you know, I've been dealing with every aspect of this not to become famous. I could have been famous if I wanted to lie, which I can't do. So, people, I'm not going to go much longer today. I'm glad I got my show back. I'm going to be doing other shows as often as I can while I have my show. I mean, I'm paying for it. I'm paying to do my show. I might as well do whatever I can as long as I can. So, people, please send this link to everybody you know. Send them to all the UFO people you know. Tell them if they got a pair of balls, come and debate me anywhere, anytime. Live, offline, their show, mine, whatever. But I know they don't have them. I just said that to Mr. Trump 2 hours ago online in X. People, we're not moving forward. We're moving backwards, people. After 100,000 years, we're moving backwards. Sexual crimes, abuse, child abuse, drugs, murder, stealing, robbing, cheating, lying. All those words are on the top of the charts. And I guess they never read Revelations in the Bible. Not that the Bible has much truth. It has very little. But John wrote in Revelations what cannot be forgiven. Any Christian, which is 2.5 billion people, read it. Send this to every Christian you know and tell them to read that part of the Bible. Read Revelations. It could take them a day. Tell them to read it 3 times where they might not be able to read what they don't want to read about sin. All right? I don't believe in sin. It's called karma. What you do, you create, you pay for it. Period. You can't get a Christian priest, rabbi, minister, or any kind of person like that to forgive you. You can't go to a psychic and they take away your karma. All ridiculous, twisted ideas in your mind that you believe in. You're responsible for every action you do or don't do. People, you know, I've been in this world 70 years and it doesn't get better ever. Every day you say, well, hopefully, well, this, that, or the other thing. It doesn't happen. We move further away from the truth. We move further away from love. We move further away from compassion. Color crimes is ridiculous, people. But it's still number 1 on the charts in the United States even. Why? Program. People, you know why? I'm going to go off the UFO world into called the Constitution of the United States. You know what it is? You know what it's about? It's about a bunch of rich white people creating laws to control the poor and middle class people. That's all it is. Half of it was stolen from native people, which they were slaughtering. Did you hear that so far? Now, the white man accepted the idea that we can slaughter all the native people. They call them Natives, they called them redskin because it related to the devil, and they were evil, which they never were. All right? But the Constitution was a battle between a couple people. Jefferson didn't sign the Constitution. Do you know that? He was working on the Bill of Rights. But he's the same person talking about freedom while he slaughtered every tribe he could going across the whole southern part of the United States. Then he became president. People, do you want to know the facts of what Constitution means? And, oh, we have the right to carry guns. Yes, you have the right to carry guns to kill and shoot Native people. In those days, people got paid for men, women, and children if they turned in their scalps. That way the cavalry knew that they were killed. When Wounded Knee happened, and they said, I was there. I don't care if you believe it or not, but when Wounded Knee happened, they slaughtered mostly women and children. The cavalry and what they did to the women. You're talking about a sick race, or the white race that was here, came from Britain and England. And then we had the Spanish come in, which was not any better. They all teamed up against the Native people, slaughtered them. There was 50 million Native people. Now there's less than 1 million Native people in the United States. Full-bloods. I mean, half-breeds. All the women that were sexually abused had children, and they were called a tribe person, right? But not people. The Constitution's evil. It was never beneficial for the normal human middle class or poor person. And it still isn't, people. To say you got the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, really? Free speech? You can't say whatever you want. When we were little, we were taught sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Really? You can't say that anymore. Mr. Bush, after 9/11, changed the laws. You were considered a terrorist if you didn't agree with the government. Not what Thomas Jefferson said, we can form a militia and take out the government the second we don't think they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Whatever happened to that? But Bush said, you're a terrorist if you're either for us or you're against us. No, you're either for us or you're a terrorist. So again, our freedom was taken away greatly after 9/11. The 460 organizations were considered terrorist groups, including Greenpeace. This is your Constitution. Why do you agree that you believe that these people, ignorant people, rich people, created laws to protect us? They didn't. Nothing about the Constitution is right because we don't agree with anything that it says, first off. And okay, here's the second word. Okay, when we vote, we all vote, hopefully, right? Try to. Then they got this other thing for these other people that vote. And it's given to certain states. My mind's boggled. I can't even say the word. But this word, all right, electoral vote, was created for a reason. Read about it, people. What do you think the electoral votes are about? All right, way back when people were creating the Constitution, and they said, well, Congress should appoint the president. And the Democrats, said, no, we can't. We have to give them rights. They fought over that. And they said, we'll come to a compromise. We'll give every state an electoral vote, meaning the power to try to overturn the presidency if the middle class or poor people get somebody in that they don't want. You think a state that has 1 million people should be equal to a state that has 20 million people? That's not right. But they're afraid because if the wrong people get in or vote, it changes reality for them. Electoral votes are evil, and it should have been done away with. And read how many people they passed people through the electoral vote that got past it. Only 5 in all the voting history. But again, Hillary went against Trump. She would have been president. would have been a big change. I don't care if you like her or not, but it would have been a woman. I still say, I don't think any woman can do as bad as a man can. Seriously, people. My new book coming out, it should be done within a month. Promise you, it's for women only, not for men, because men are egotistical fools. All of them. Oh, I'm a good man. Really? What's a good man? Do you know anything about God? Do you know anything about death? Do you know anything about reincarnation? Do you know anything about what soul really is? You can't be good if you don't know God. Period. You can't do the right thing if you don't. Saying you do everything in the name of God doesn't mean you're doing it what God wants. Well, I had to kill him because God said so. That's what a psychiatrist will ask you if you go to them. Does God talk to you? Oh, excuse me. Sorry, you can say yes and be called crazy. God doesn't talk to people on this planet. Conversation with God. I debated him so many times. He keeps saying, I'll send you my book. I said, I don't want to read your garbage. I don't deal with lies. God doesn't talk to people on this planet. Never mind you. To tell everybody love's the answer. Love's not the answer for anything. Oh, but love's so important. Do you see it change in reality ever? Hinduism was sexual. Everything was based on sex. The deities, you name it, everything was sexual. The penis and all that, the phallus that was put in the temple, all those things were sexual. And the deities played God. But see, there was no word for God at that time. And at that time, there was multiple gods, G-O-D-S, not a singular God, because they just played the role. And our definition today is super powerful being. So, I mean, if you came up with superpowers, they'd call you God. All right? But again, our history is so screwed up. Mankind never moved forward. But it was because of alien races. I'm not going to go into the details. Atlantis was destroyed. The spiritual races left this reality. They didn't need to stay here anymore. You're going to reincarnate on this planet until you learn what you are. And that's not this loving, compassionate person. You think God is all that, people? Do you want the truth? Or you want to live in fairyland? You think God's, oh, he fell over, pick him up, heal him. Oh, his son just got hit by a car. Oh, his son just got raped. Oh, this, that. And you think God's sitting there saying, oh, I'm so sorry. No, you're in hell for a reason. You beings are going to learn who and what you are. And when you decide to learn what you are, you can leave. Jesus was teaching how to get out of here, not stay here. People, you want the truth. You want to live in lies and fantasies and fairy tales. It wasn't about sex with children or any of those words. And a woman had to be a virgin to get married and all these ridiculous ideas. The rabbi finds out if a girl's a virgin? Only a sick, perverted man would allow that to happen. People, you want to know the laws and rules of religions and stuff? Has nothing to do with God. Just man's ego. And it was always to suppress women. For 100,000 years, people, that's why I'm writing this book. Women don't even understand that. They don't understand a man's mind, his ego, and what he lives for. Sex. What does a man really live for? Really? Money, cars, boats, planes? No. What does he want on top of all that? Drugs and drinking? Yeah, but what goes with that? People, we're so perverted, so twisted. And you look at these poor countries where they're starving, they're better off. Because they're sitting in the street praying. Not that they're praying to get anything, because they're not. All the so-called people in the United States, we're going to send them unconditional love. Well, that's going to feed them, right? That's going to help them. Man's ego, through religion, through programming, through parents, have become so twisted. And the aliens are playing with that now. Think they have much to play with? They have a lot to play with. Ignorance. Void of truth. And if you think any UFO person out there can tell you anything important, please Put it in my site. Send it to me. Hawksblood1, AOL.com. Tell me what they're going to prove and say is beneficial to the human race. Aliens are not. Never will be, never were. They're not more spiritually involved. Technology has nothing to do with spirituality, people. Time travel and all that. Tesla did it because an alien race gave it to him. But does that help man become better? Of course not. When they destroyed Atlantis, it was the only time in the history of this planet the races that were here, there were 9, were in perfect harmony. They didn't kill, didn't eat animals, didn't lie, cheat, steal, or any of that stuff. You couldn't. You could read people's, you would read each other. You usually didn't even talk. Aliens didn't like that at all. So they destroyed it. But many of those races, there were 9, 5 just left already. So we don't have to deal with this no more. We're leaving. But again, the races that stayed, black, yellow, red, and white, became victims of aliens, victim of ego, victim of programming. And that's where we are now. But go on, read your stories, watch your movies, believe what you want. But I guess you really don't want the truth. You know, people don't come here much. They listen to 2 words and run. The second they hear, well, that's a lie. Oh, no, that's my truth. Jesus was this. Jesus is coming back. Why would a man come back to this reality to help a bunch of demon idiots do what? God can't make you learn. God gave you the ability to, but it won't make you. That's where the word free will came from. That's where the word free will came from. Soul's allowed to do what it wants. And until it learns what it is, it can't do anything that it should be doing or really want to do. Aliens can play with that, but they know better. They're ancient years old, but they never found God. They wouldn't eat people. They wouldn't do the things they do if they had a clue. They wouldn't allow war on this planet. You know, my favorite movie, and it's really important to watch it. If there was a good alien race, for real, watch The Day the Earth Stood Still. The original one, not the second one with Keanu Reeves. That became a great movie, but not pertaining to The Day the Earth Stood Still. Watch the original movie. It's old, black and white. I don't know if they colored it or not yet, but I have it. It's my favorite movie. Watch it. Watch what a good alien race would do. Watch what people would do to stop it or try to. Please watch it if you never saw it. Think about it if you did. What really happened, how it ended, how it would really go down if there was a good alien. The same if God was on this planet. What do you think it would do? It wouldn't leave it here too long, would it? Why would it want to? There's so much more evil on this planet than anything good. The water's toxic, the air's toxic, the food's toxic. People are so toxic. What's good here? Oh, I love my children. What are you going to teach them? Oh, to watch fighting games and kill each other. People, we're so screwed up. And to think different countries believe a lot more different things, we're in trouble. As far as the whole planet. Not becoming peaceful, loving beings. We don't know what that means. They didn't know for a long time. And if you think there was ever a good time in history outside of Atlantis, prove it. The cowboy days? Yeah, you got to carry a gun, shoot anybody you want. The gladiator days, you could beat, chomp, and fight with people. Why? Because they want you to? Why? Why were you fighting? Why were you prisoners? Nothing was ever good. Except the king and the queen said, well, cut his head off. What they did to John the Baptist. I mean, what they did in history, we were never a good human race. For 100,000 years, people, women were always slaves, unless you were a queen or going to become queen or whatever. But animals were being sacrificed every which way, even in your arenas. They put giraffes into a battle. I mean, they did anything to entertain people because people like to see killing, which they still do. Murder. How could people stand to think that Halloween should be allowed on TV? It should not be anyone under 21 going to see the movie in the first place. It destroys a person's mind. They got a new one coming out. I mean, they're all horrible. And we need to be horrible. We need that horrible experience. Cheap thrills is one thing. Jumping out of a plane, jumping off of a cliff. But walking in the room and somebody taking out a hatchet and chopping your head off when you turn around or something. Really? Violence. Oh, wow, that scared me. Wow, how about I bat you in the head with a baseball bat? That scare you? You know, when you watch crime and you watch what's going down, what do you think aliens play in the role of that? They're not stopping anything, are they? Watch The Day the Earth Stood Still and think about it. If there was one good alien race that was powerful, not a lame, well, we're a good race, but we can't do nothing, but a powerful alien race, what they would do? Watch it. That was my most favorite robot entity in all history in my life. I love robots all my life. But what they're going to be doing now is not good, like Robbie the Robot. But what's happening? They're going to be taking your jobs at every level. I mean, even AI is going to replace robots as well, people. Do you understand that? Well, I said enough today. I hope you got something out of it. Please send this link to everybody you know if you watch this. Again, Tommy Hawksblood. Email me, hawksblood1aol.com. HAWKSBLOOD1 at AOL.com. I answer all my mail, good, bad, or indifferent. I had a hater not too long ago, but you know, I expect that. The more light you bring into your life, the more negativity you bring into your life. I went through the worst month in my life this past month, still just coming out of it. I don't even have a car yet. I'm renting a car. People, you know, and don't ever say this is as bad as it can get. No, it can always take another step down. So be happy with what you got, or try to be. Try to work with what you have. Don't look for miracles. Don't look for the golden pot at the end of the rainbow. Don't desire to become a multimillionaire, because you will become just as corrupted as all the other ones will or are. Peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life. Don't stop until you get it. Don't settle for lies. Don't take any wooden nickels. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii.